Welcome to Elf Center. So, today, something I know some people have heard me say is that my grandfather, on the maternal side, very wise, very interesting man, used to say guilt is the second most useless emotion in the world. So I'm going to talk about the three most useless emotions in the world. And the question, why do you feel them? And each time you feel them, you should take some time for some introspection and consider why you're reacting this way. So, coming in at number 3 of the top 3 emotions that are completely useless and worthless in this world. Can you guess? I'll give you a moment. How many of you said jealousy? Jealousy is, there is selfishness and there is selflessness. And things are right and good when it is a balance between the two. Because you do need to take care of you. You do need to pay attention to what you need and what you want. But you need to also pay attention to those around you. We are social beasts. We are, even the most introverted of us does need some contact. Most of it done through social media now. Satisfying them, but we still need to pay attention to those around us and what they want and what they need and how it all works together. Jealousy is a combination of selfishness and greed, which is what most people think when they think selfish. Selfish is not about greed. Selfish is about being focused on you. Greed is okay in moderation. It encourages you to go get more if you do it right. It motivates you. It gives you a reason to strive, to work harder. Unfortunately, for most people, greed is, let's see how much I can grab and run away with. Let's see how much I can get by standing in a soapbox and complaining. Why are you jealous? Why do you need to keep up with the Joneses in such a way that you live beyond your means? Or that you cheat, or steal, or cut other people down, tear them up. You can't get further, so you bring people down to your level and below. You cause drama. You spread rumors. You make accusations. All of this stems from jealousy. If somebody has something you don't want, work to get it. Better yourself in some way, whether working more hours or working harder or budgeting differently or setting aside money or time or effort or energy to get it yourself if you truly think that's what you need. Do you really need all the things in the world? I'll understand a little bit. I mean, I'm a DJ with OCD. I need all the music in the world. Don't have it and I don't spin out about it. But do you really need to have what everyone else has? That would make you the exact same as everyone else. And how boring is that? You're not you. You're somebody else. Jealousy is defining yourself by your possessions or by other people. I need what they have. So therefore, you are not you, you are they. Do not covet your neighbor's ass, nor any other part of his or her body. Really. Jealousy makes no sense to me. That said, there are moments when I am a little envious. And envy is nothing more than jealousy by another name. A little different, but not very much. But I work to not be. When other people get the credit or the applause that I feel that I deserve for something, I take a step back and look at it and say, do I really deserve it? Did I do something that justifies me receiving those moments in the spotlight? Pretty easy to figure out, yes or no. And if yes, I know now how to deal better with these people and how to deal better with things in my life and my contributions and my energy so it doesn't happen again. It's one of the reasons I share the spotlight, because I do not do what I do on my own. I do not exist in a vacuum. I exist among the greater communities in society. So when somebody thanks me, they're thanking a whole host of people, and I like to make sure those thanks roll downhill or uphill, and those who deserve the thanks get them. Okay, second most useless emotion. And you probably got this from my intro. Guilt. What use is guilt, really? Grandmothers use it, mothers use it, women use it, much more than men use it. It is a passive-aggressive thing more often than not, though it can be out and out aggressive at times. You did something wrong. You made a mistake. You committed an error. Newsflash, you are human. We do this stuff. Everything is flawed. There is no such thing as perfection. Even when we say perfectly done, we mean as close to perfect as possible, and it's doubtful that anyone can ever surpass it. You made an oops. There is one and really only one adult reaction to this. One mature, intelligent, responsible reaction. And that is to accept, own, kind of same thing, learn, and apologize. And then move on. We all make mistakes. Physical mistakes, emotional mistakes, mistakes in judgment, social mistakes. Learn from it. Rectify it as best you can. Often an apology is all that is required. Be sincere in your apology. I've gotten so many insincere apologies over the years, I don't know where to start with those. I keep them in a bucket under my computer desk. It's a good place to cool my feet when it's too hot out. Learn, rectify, apologize, and move on. If you can fix it, fix it. So many things are easily fixed. And move on. Guilty pleasures, a term I really love to hear, and this is me practicing sarcasm, which I really don't get. If you get pleasure for something, why do you feel guilty about it? It makes no sense to me. You gain pleasure from it. Embrace it, enjoy it. Simple, c'est tout. And this brings us to number one on the hit parade with a bullet. And that is hate. Hate is an intense dislike, sometimes with a source, sometimes without. Often, if it doesn't seem to have a source, it's because we're not willing to look back and figure out what the source is. Hate encompasses large, swathing groups and sweeping bunches of stuff. I have worked, and I still slip, to remove the word hate from my vocabulary. Except in the case of hate speech. That's different. I understand it, and I listen to it, but I try not to use it. I don't honestly hate anything. Hate can come from anger, and it's the bad result of anger. Anger, if used properly, if accepted, embraced, and you know what you're doing with anger, is an incredible, energizing, motivating force that can make sweeping changes in your life and in the world. Hate does nothing. It's repressed festering. It's, I do not favor things. I dislike things. I do not hate things. Even when I slip and use the word, I'll often catch myself and rephrase it. I strongly disfavor Brussels sprouts. I kind of dislike liver. Unless it's cooked with bacon and onions, in which case, okay, I don't dislike it so much. I disfavor cooked tomatoes. They are not a favorite. Hate? No. I dislike Brussels sprouts, but knowing they're good for me, on rare occasion when they are served by someone else at a dinner I am at, I will eat them. Hating, we are such a xenophobic race. If we are not exactly like us, it's bad. We still have sexism and racism and people hated for their religion and their thought and their everything. And this is where hate powers the negative. There is nothing positive about hate at all. So here's a simple little request, a suggestion. Sit down for a little while, glass of wine, cup of tea, a friend to bounce some things off, because they're great sounding boards. And often You know, you'll figure things out even as you're tossing them at them. And think of who is doing better than you, and are you jealous of them, and why? Why do you not celebrate their victories and successes as you would want them to celebrate yours? I've run into this at work. When one is singled out as being, wow, this person's great, suddenly the jealousy rises and everyone has to tear them down and throw them under the bus and, well, you know, I'd support them, but yeah, your own personal jealousy is merely holding you back as well and ruining things, because there are people who see that. And eventually you get called on it. You will get to a point where you're not moving any further because it's realized you get ahead by tearing others down and not building others up. That's what a leader does, builds others up. What do you feel guilty about? What in your past, sometimes it's a simple little email or a phone call to say, you know what, I was a dick. I was not nice. I'm sorry. I'm still working on some of that myself. I've got most of it taken care of, but there's a few things that I still need to work out. And finally, what do you hate? And why do you hate it? What is the source of your hate that you have such a strong personal dislike for a group, for your stereotyping? Why? We argue against stereotyping all the time, but hatred does just that. Why? Take a look at your own emotions before you start going after. It's the old people in glass houses routine. It's funny, a lot of us pay that lip service. Very few actually practice it. Practice what you preach. Jealousy, guilt, and hate. Think of a world without those three emotions. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Maybe it's a world we can build. I'm willing to start laying the foundation. Are you? Come on, join me. Jealousy, guilt, hate. Let's get rid of them. So much better in life and in the world that we can embrace. Thank you very much for tuning in and hitting play. Hopefully watching the whole thing. You have a wonderfully adventurous day, and I'll talk with you soon.